What if I told you that the most powerful company in the AI revolution isn't a household name like Apple or Google, but a chipmaker that started off building graphics cards for gamers in the 1990s? What if I told you that this same company, Nvidia, has now become the beating heart of the global AI industry, quietly transforming from a niche tech player into the engine driving the most important technological arms race of our time? With a market cap now surpassing $4 trillion, Nvidia isn't just making history, it's remaking the future. But this isn't just a story about numbers. It's a story about how one company seized an opportunity most others overlooked, how it saw what the rest of the tech world didn't, how it placed a bet decades ago that would eventually place it at the center of everything. Robotics, autonomous vehicles, supercomputers, military defense systems, and even geopolitical strategy. So how did Nvidia pull it off? And what does it mean when one private company becomes the foundation of the world's most powerful and transformative technology? Let's dive into the rise of Nvidia, from pixels to power, from gaming to global supremacy. Nvidia's humble beginnings. In 1993, Nvidia was founded by three engineers, Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Preem. At the time, the computing world was focused on CPUs, central processing units. But these three founders were betting on something else, a new type of chip called a GPU, or graphics processing unit. While CPUs handled general computing tasks, GPUs could handle thousands of smaller, simultaneous tasks, perfect for rendering complex images in video games. The first few years were rocky. Nvidia's early products competed with companies like 3DFX and ATI, and the GPU market was far from stable. But Nvidia stood out by continually iterating and innovating. In 1999, the company released the GeForce 256, which it boldly labeled the world's first GPU. It was more than marketing. It was a genuine leap forward, enabling real-time 3D rendering at a level never seen before. This wasn't just a milestone for gaming, it was the moment Nvidia established itself as a force in computing. But even then, no one could have predicted how this hardware, originally designed for video games, would one day power artificial intelligence. The GPU becomes the brain of AI. For years, Nvidia remained focused on gaming. It released GPU after GPU, each more powerful than the last. Gamers loved Nvidia for its high performance, and the brand became synonymous with cutting-edge graphics. But under the hood, Nvidia's GPUs had a special trait: they could handle parallel processing at scale. This trait became incredibly important in the 2000s as researchers began experimenting with machine learning and neural networks. In 2006, Nvidia launched CUDA, a revolutionary software platform that allowed developers to program GPUs for general-purpose computing. This was a subtle but groundbreaking shift. CUDA enabled scientists and engineers to use Nvidia hardware not just for gaming, but for data science, physics simulations, cryptography, and, most importantly, AI. The real tipping point came in 2012. A group of researchers at the University of Toronto used Nvidia GPUs to train a deep convolutional neural network called AlexNet. The results blew the competition away. It wasn't just better, it was revolutionary. The model crushed the ImageNet visual recognition challenge, proving that GPUs could massively accelerate AI training. That single breakthrough shifted the entire AI research community toward Nvidia hardware. Overnight, Nvidia wasn't just a gaming company, it was the new engine of AI. Nvidia's AI dominance takes off. Throughout the 2010s, artificial intelligence went from experimental to essential. Companies across every industry, from tech to finance to healthcare, began investing in machine learning. Deep learning models required immense computing power, and Nvidia's GPUs became the gold standard. Whether it was computer vision, natural language processing, or autonomous systems, the hardware that made it possible usually had a green Nvidia logo on it. The company's dominance wasn't just about raw power. it was also about ecosystem control. Nvidia built an entire stack, from hardware to software to developer tools. QGIS, QBN, TensorRT, these became staples of the AI developers toolkit. Universities began teaching deep learning using Nvidia platforms. Cloud providers stocked their data centers with Nvidia GPUs. And startups knew that to stay competitive, they needed Nvidia-powered infrastructure. Other companies tried to compete. Intel poured billions into AI startups. Google created its TPU chips. Apple and Amazon developed in-house silicon. But Nvidia stayed ahead by never becoming complacent. Each new generation of chips, Volta, Turing, Ampere, Hopper, was faster, more efficient, and more developer-friendly. By 2020, Nvidia was not just a player, it was the undisputed leader in AI computing. The ChatGPT effect. In late 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT. The world changed overnight. Suddenly, people realized that AI wasn't just some abstract concept. It could write code, answer questions, summarize documents, and even hold full conversations. Behind the scenes, ChatGPT and models like it were powered by Nvidia's data center GPUs. Each ChatGPT query required compute cycles, millions of them per second, and Nvidia's hardware was doing the heavy lifting. This triggered a global frenzy. Every company wanted to build their own AI model. Every government wanted to compete. The demand for Nvidia chips surged to levels never seen before. Tech giants like Microsoft and Meta placed billion-dollar orders. Cloud providers scrambled to expand capacity. Nvidia's H100 and A100 chips became the most sought-after pieces of silicon on the planet. And because Nvidia had a near monopoly on the hardware needed for AI at scale, its revenue and valuation exploded. By mid-2023, Nvidia passed the $1 trillion mark. By 2024, $2 trillion. And by 2025, Nvidia became a $4 trillion company, richer than any other tech firm, and arguably the most important company on Earth. Why the world can't ignore Nvidia? Nvidia's position isn't just financial, it's strategic. Because its chips are so critical to AI development, the company now finds itself at the intersection of geopolitics, military planning, and national security. The US government restricts exports of high-end Nvidia chips to China, fearing that they could accelerate rival AI programs. At the same time, allies like the EU, Israel, and Japan partner with Nvidia to bolster their own AI industries. Nvidia hardware powers everything from military drones to language models to surveillance systems. The company even works with defense contractors and intelligence agencies, although details are often shrouded in secrecy. This has led some analysts to compare Nvidia to OPEC during the oil boom. Just as oil fueled the 20th century, AI will fuel the 21st, and Nvidia controls the spigots. That power comes with risk. What happens if Nvidia is hacked? If its supply chain is disrupted? If a hostile state reverse engineers its chips? The world's growing dependency on one company's technology raises serious questions about resilience and control. Cracks in the silicon throne. Not everything is perfect in Nvidia's empire. As the company grows more dominant, criticism has followed. Some accused Nvidia of ruthless behavior, buying up competitors, squeezing partners, and hoarding supply. The company has been criticized for pricing practices, alleged anti-competitive moves, and secretive negotiations with cloud giants. Environmentalists warn that Nvidia's chips, used in massive data centers, consume staggering amounts of energy. Training a single large AI model can emit as much CO2 as a cross-country jet flight. As AI usage scales, so does the environmental impact, and Nvidia is at the heart of that equation. Others fear a bubble. With Nvidia's valuation reaching $4 trillion, some analysts wonder, is the hype sustainable? What happens if demand drops or competitors catch up? Could Nvidia crash as quickly as it rose? Nvidia didn't just ride the AI wave, it created it. From humble beginnings in graphics cards to building the infrastructure of artificial intelligence, it has redefined what it means to be a tech superpower. In this new gold rush, Nvidia doesn't dig for gold, it sells the shovels. And those who sell the shovels shape the future. If you want more deep dives into the forces shaping our world, the companies rewriting the rules of tech, and the trends that could redefine your future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss what's coming next.